Hey guys, welcome back to Fazbear Bendy, and today I'm going to be showing you on how I made all of my Withered Animatronic plushies here. So here we go. We're going to start off here with Withered Freddy. Okay. Alright, here we go. Let's start off with Withered Freddy. Now this Withered Animatronic here, I gotta say, this one was definitely my easiest one because if you all know about, if you're wondering who the Withered animatronics are, first of all, if you've never heard of these guys before, here's a little tip on who they are. They're basically the FNAF 1 animatronics, except they're more torn. They're like the prototypes of them. Because in the original game, you have the 5 main characters, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and Golden Freddy. But these are the torn up versions of those guys. And they appear in Five Nights at Freddy's 2. So that's who these guys are. But let's look through these guys real quick, see how I made them. Let's look through here and see what I did. So if you ever want to make your own, you can look at these guys for a little help. So what I did was, I took a Sharpie and I colored in these little spots here for the, you can't really see, but for the wear and tears. And then I cut out 2 little circle pieces of black felt for the buttons. And then I used some more felt up there for the wires up there. Yeah, that's what I used for the wires. I used like some red, blue, and gray felt for the wires there. All you just do is just hot glue them in there. I gave him those little eyelids, and I gave him the little dark circles around his eyes, and I gave him thin eyebrows. I just kind of trimmed out his eyebrows to make them a little bit thinner. And if you're wondering what this little outline right here is, it's supposed to be that okay, so what this is, it's supposed to represent the 2 jaws that they have, because the Withered animatronics here have separate jaws. They have one jaw and another jaw. They're separate jaws. So there's not really much to say about this one, other than that he was pretty much the easiest one to make. Alrighty, now let's move on to one of my favorite ones, Withered Chica. Now, this one is my favorite one out of the entire set, because more likely she might be my second favorite character out of the Withered animatronics. My favorite plush here is Withered Chica, because she was the one who definitely took a lot of my time to make, because she wasn't challenging, but she was hard to do. But let's just take a look here. So, as you can see here, we have the body. The body's not really much here. I'll just show you this. So just like with Withered Freddy, I took some Sharpie and I colored in for the tears. And I did that all over her arms and her legs. And then if you're wondering what I used here for the, I can't see, but if you're wondering what I used for the wires here, I just cut it out 4 pieces of red, blue, and gray yarn, and I just took tape and I rolled them up and I cut holes in the hands and I just put them in there. Just like same thing with the other side there. Yarn. Alright, now let's take a look at the head. So as you can see here, for the head, I took some Sharpie for the little nostril she has. I took some Sharpie for the dark circles around the eyes. I decided to flatten out the eyes because if you're wondering why, here's a couple reasons why. Withered Chica is one of the most scariest versions of Chica there is. Yes, there's Nightmare Chica, but out of like the Withered animatronics, she's like the scariest one. It's not because of like how the gaining mouth is, but the way her irises are. If you look at Withered Chica from the game, her irises are like so small that her eyes are like super wide open. And yes, the gaining mouth is another reason, because even though she does look like a dinosaur, the T-Rex, or if you want to call her the Chicasaurus Rex, but she's like one of the scariest Withered animatronics there is. But let's just go through. So as you can see in the mouth, I took felt here for the teeth. And if you wonder what I used to attach the head, I used pipe cleaners. And for the inside endoskeleton here, I used felt. And you can actually open her mouth like that. Like you can use her. It's like a puppet. You can open her mouth like that. And if you're wondering why I used to put the head on the body, I use hot glue. It gives her a little bobblehead. And this is what she looks like from the side. So yeah, so that's Withered Chica. And if you can't really tell, I put a little bit of a smudge on the bit, but you can't really see. So yeah, that's Withered Chica. That's how I made her. So now let's go on to Withered Bonnie. Now, Withered Bonnie was the second challenging one. Now, as you can see here, if you can't really look closely, I took cardboard and I glued the cardboard pieces together so that way the bottom jaw doesn't like go down to like it doesn't look like that. Like, I tried to make it to where the jaw would actually face like sideways instead of like up and down. You can't really see, but so here's what I did for the details. So I used just like with Withered Freddy, I used felt for the little buttons he has. Just like with all the other ones, I used Sharpie for the tears. If you're wondering what I used for the endo foot, I just took some duct tape because I think I could have bought a Nightmare Foxy plush and just took the feet off of that one and put it on here, but I didn't really want to ruin it, so I just kind of took some duct tape and wrapped it around the foot there with duct tape. And just like with Withered Chica here, I used yarn for the wires. And I did the same thing over here. Hot glued in a little piece of yarn right here. And then for the face, I took felt for the teeth. I used felt for the endoskeleton teeth back there. I used felt for the endoskeleton, felt for the endoskeleton eyes, and I used yarn for the wires back there too. And if you're wondering how I gave him that missing arm, all I just did was I took his other arm and I just kind of like folded it, like pushed it in, and I kind of just like did the same. And yes, guys, if you're wondering, these wires are removable. I can literally just take these out. See, watch. I can just take them out like that. See, I just took a roll of tape, and I can just like place them back in there. But giving him the wires isn't really that hard. And yes, guys, I took some gray pieces of felt and I kind of sewed in the hand there to represent his endoskeleton hand. So yeah, so that's Withered Bonnie. So let's move on to the next Withered Animatronic. Now this is my third easiest one. Now let's move on to Withered Foxy. Now, out of all the Withered Animatronics, Withered Foxy is definitely one of the scariest ones. Like I said, I know I did say that for Withered Chica, but Withered Foxy is one of the most toughest ones because he's one of the hardest animatronics to beat in the game. Because unlike how the other three, all you just have to do is just put the mask on, Withered Foxy, though, you have to literally flash him down the hallway. And if you don't flash him enough, he will jump scare you. But let's just go over some details I did for Withered Foxy. For Withered Foxy, I used Sharpie for the tears. And just like with Bonnie, I used duct tape for the endoskeleton feet. And then for his pants, I just took a brown Sharpie, and that's all I did. And just like with Freddy, I used a Sharpie for the outline there. And then I used the same Sharpie to do the dark circle around his eye. And then for the eyelid, I just decided to use a red Sharpie to make his red eyelid. And there's what the back of him looks like. And then for the endoskeleton ear, I used the felt and thread. Okay. Alright, guys. The last Withered Animatronic member here we have is Withered Golden Freddy. Now, this one to me is a special one because there's a main reason why. If you guys know the Funko Golden Freddy, which you guys probably already know, that is one of the second rarest plushies ever to find. Surely, the Shadow Freddy is rare, but the Golden Freddy is the second one to find. Like, it's the hardest one to find. It's not the rarest one, it's the second rarest, because it's discontinued, just like with Toy Freddy and Shadow Freddy. So if you're wondering what I used to make this, is I kind of just bought a, what is it called? I think it's called a Party Master Golden Freddy. Yeah, that's what this is called. So let's just go through what I did to make this plushie. So I used felt for the buttons, just like Bonnie and Freddy. Sharpie for the outline right here around. And then I use Sharpie for the holes. I used the red Sharpie then. Now the red Sharpie seems to represent the wires that clip through his suit. And then I used felt for the eyes. And then I used Sharpie for the eyebrows. And I used yarn for the wires around his ear, arms, and eye. So yeah, that's Withered Freddy. So there you guys go. That is how I made all of my Withered Animatronic plushies. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Leave a like and subscribe. And if you want to get notified when we add a new video, hit that little bell down there next to that subscribe button. Well guys, there you guys go. I hope you guys enjoy. And I'll see you guys in the next one.